war on drugs segment. So again, for those who didn't watch, item 41 was the adoption of the ordinance called the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, which pertains to land usage. So City Council voted to adopt the provision to include modifying police language directing the Tampa Police Department to focus on neighborhood crime and drug activity. So I just wanted to know, how do you feel this new provision will affect the community? And we can start with you, Diana.
Yeah, I mean, the war on drugs is such a well-chronicled attack on Black and brown people. Like, that's just not a controversial statement at all. It's proven over and over again. And even in Tampa, like, State Attorney Andrew Warren passed he did a resolution a couple of years ago to say he doesn't prosecute low-level marijuana possession. Like, we are moving, we could be moving in the right direction on this. And so this to me is such a regression. Like, we were kind of getting there in Hillsborough. We were understanding maybe like tough on crime policing and like the war on drugs is less popular of an issue than it was. So this is really disappointing to see this kind of backsliding. We just know better. Like, there's no excuse at this point. This is not, there's absolutely no excuse to be continuing to prosecute drugs when we have so many alternatives like needle exchanges, that were mentioned in the video. This is definitely not the way to do it. But there's money in it. There's money in police, like, doing raids on drug houses and things like that. So, yeah, very disappointed in that.
And Tatiana?
Yeah, no, to me, I completely agree with everything Diana said. To me, it's using the same systems that we've used over and over and over again and seeing the same result, which is there are poverty in these communities, there's crime in these communities, and people fall into them because they don't actually have structural support and community resources, because what police do and come into these communities is torment and terrorize these people. So they're not going to end up in good places. They're not going to have good outcomes when they are constantly being terrorized, instead of actually having money invested in the communities to feed people, to keep them off the streets, to keep them in their homes, and especially safe during a pandemic. The fact that people are having to leave their homes and there's so much crime increasing during a pandemic shows that people are truly struggling. I saw a statistic that 40% of Floridians were on the edge of being evicted from their homes. And there's actually no clear tracker in Hillsborough to see who is the numbers of people that are still being evicted. So we don't exactly know how many people are being kicked out of their homes at this current moment to actually help them. And instead, we're having more people on the streets, we're having more crime, more violence, instead of actually giving money into the communities, as the communities have requested over and over again, and not just charging people over and over again for low-level crimes and saying, oh, these are good people. They just don't have other outcomes and other circumstances to help them through it. And so I just think all this money, all this time being diverted to East Tampa isn't actually being diverted to resources that will help the community empower itself and create new forms of justice, like restorative justice, like abolition, that would help people actually grow out of these situations and be able to empower themselves out of these situations that cause crime, instead of just focusing on, oh, there are more shootings, we should just send more cops. And we know that over-policing does not help. It does not improve the community, and it does not solve the problem we need. So we need to go toward the solutions that we know, which is overall more decriminalization of low-level drugs, overall less prosecution. And right now we should be actually talking about removing everyone that's in jail that could be easily taken out, because their trials haven't even started yet, because they've been postponed because of Zoom, because of the pandemic. We have people being held for longer periods because of the circumstances we're in, instead of just sending them home and then calling them back in. So I just think we're going backwards. We're not actually solving the problems that the community is saying we need to solve. And the community is bringing solutions. The community is constantly bringing solutions, but they're going with the systems that will fund them and continue the cycles of violence over and over again.